We are today combing the 10 greatest Bulova watches, the American company that not only sent a man to the moon when most of the Swiss houses didn't even have a space program to discuss, but who have since then spent the decades quietly developing movements that run circles around their price tags. You have a traditional dress watch and a curved case, which it should not be as a mechanical possibility. This is the line that Bulova never ceased to innovate when the watch world had ceased paying enough attention. Hold on to number one, the one that Swiss horology lovers will admire, although not mention. Number 10, Bulova Classic 96A 133. We begin with the watch which Bulova is all about. Clean, standard dress watch, but based on proportion and legibility as opposed to showmanship. The 96A 133 has a simple round case, are marked with applied hour and a date window placed where it belongs, without interfering with the balance of the dial. It is a sturdy quartz that simply does what a dress watch should do, day in and day out, without so much as raising an eyebrow. It is not the watch which shouts out on a board. The watch is worn to work, to dinner, to all in between, years and years, without moving price, $15 down, $200 new. The basics of the dress watch and done neatly at such a price that they do not crowd out the rest of this list. Number 9, Bulova Marine Star 98 B3 Mower 4. Marine Star is a dress watch sensibility given the real sport watch structure, a case having real wrist presence, a case bezel that is real and unidirectional, and a water resistance that is really more than a splash. The dial design of the 98 B344 provides an ideal balance of legibility with a touch of visual effect, finishing with a texture or sunburst finish, which reflects light far better than flat dress dial watches. It occupies that convenient but not quite zone between watch you could go to work in and watch you do not have to take off before getting anywhere near water, which is a smaller grouping than it ought to be at this price range price, $18 $30 new. Sport dress crossover that has been done with finishing detail over and above the price tag. Number 8, Bulova Dressin 97 A138. Back to pure dress watch territory with a slimmer case, a more formal dial execution than the classic line, including Roman numerals, a sophisticated minute track, and proportions that can be undoubtedly slipped under a shirt cuff. The 97A138 is the watch that you turn to in those times when the event really demands restraint. A wedding, a formal dinner, an interview. The dress line of Bulova has never met outdated without knowing A, it can be a fancy affair, and the showing here, the finish of the flanks of the case, the sharpness of the printed dial, etc., are done with more thoroughness than most of the watches, 3 times the cost worry with price, $190 new. Proportions that are formal occasion and are dial finished to invite closer inspection. Number 7, Bulova Sutton 96 A203. The Sutton line is where Bulova adopted the design staff, made the only obvious choice about vintage, inspired not necessarily needing to be the same thing. The 96 A203 draws inspiration in mid-century American watch design, a unique case design, cozy dial colors, a crown fitted, respecting the way the watch actually fits the wrist, but without aping any other watch in its archives. It is the Bulova that through great pictures and looks even better. The watch everyone talks about when they see it, but cannot name how. Now price, $2,250 new. Restatements of mid-century design language made into the truly original. Number 6, Bulova Lunar Pilot 986 BQ51. This is the watch which has supposedly the best background story in the whole American watch industry. An authentically recreated offshoot of the Bulova chronograph issued on the moon during Apollo 15. The Lunar Pilot is the first and only privately owned watch to have ever been worn in the moon, as backup to the official one worn by astronaut Dave Scott when his issued watch broke. The 96 B251 reinvents the shape of the case. The asymmetric crown and pusher design, the high-contrast chronograph dial of that original wristwatch, and in a modern quartz chronograph with an authentic degree of precision and dependability. Possession of one is not merely a possession of a chronograph. The fact that only a very few collectors can believe being able to own a documented piece of space history costs it price, $500–600 new. The single privately owned watch to land on the moon reissued with contemporary dependability under. Number 5. Bulova Classic Automatic 96261. Bulova enters the mechanical sphere and does it with such finishing that will keep shocking people who think once a quartz brand watch gets a real mechanical movement, it will feel cheap. The 96A261 features an auto caliber, seen through an exhibition caseback in a case which maintains the same dress watch proportions the classic line based its reputation on. The model that makes non-believers feel that this isn't Bulova playing around in the automatics department is the fact that this real mechanical second hand sweeps over that more time-tested dial pattern it decides that it can and should give outline to. An authentic mechanical movement encased in the meanest-looking Bulova dressing watch body. Number 4. Bulova Computron 98C135. The watch that values another notch higher on this list as it appears is the Bulova Computron. An unbelievably faithful reissue of the radical asymmetrical LED digital watch of the 1970s of Bulova. The 98C135 retains the shape of the parallelogram case and the tilted digital readout, which made you turn your radioactive wrist to see the time, a design that was so radically different that it was immediately recognizable 50 years on. This is Bulova bending all the way to its role as a true innovator, as opposed to a copycat, at a time when the majority of reissue watches available are the ones that are safe. Nothing on this list, or even in most collections, looks anything like its price. $3,504 $30 new. The real radical of the 1970s, reissued, and all the radicality of the original rubbed out. Number 3. Bulova Precisionist 96B257. This is where the engineering department of Bulova ceases being a mere footnote and becomes the story itself. The Precisionist series uses a high-speed quartz movement, which floats at 262 kilohertz, and with a movement strength that is up to 8 times faster than a typical quartz movement, and offers the benefit that it has as much as 1 Precisionist per second, and that it does not run in a tick-hack-tick mode that most quartz timepieces are almost privileged with. The 96B257 makes that technology as real as it can be with a real feel, and once you experience that second-hand slide rather than a jump, you will find it hard to run back to a conventional quartz-powered watch and stay out of the control of the second-hand tick. Price, $300–400 new. Proprietary high-frequency quartz that is accurate within 10 seconds annually, with a sweep second hand that betrays it as special. Number 2. Bulova Curv 98A21. This is the wristwatch which cannot be made, and here it is. The Curv contains the first curved chronograph movement in the world, a dedicated movement that is able to be shaped around the contour of the wrist and not lie flat within a conventionally shaped case. Just one engineering choice alters all the facts about the way the watch wears it, is low-worn, and embraces the wrist in a manner that no flat movement watch, no matter how expensive, could physically have. The 98A21 that movement, with a case shape where the curvature is not concealed but on the surface right away, resulting in a real feat of engineering made tangible, literally. Chronograph, curved, arch, and comfort profile, which just cannot be played by the flat movement watch's price, $400–500 new. The original curved chronograph movement in the world, an engineering breakthrough unmatched by most brands at any price. Number 1. Bulova Accu Swiss Murren 63B185, and the watch topping this list does so by accomplishing a feat no other American watch company is attempting at such a price, creating a true Swiss-made mechanical timepiece in-house and finishing it with a finish that can stand up on Swiss houses that at a higher price. A Swiss in Murren with an inside case, crafted with actual consideration of case flame polishing, dial depth, and case proportion, the details that distinguish a watch that works, not a watch that people designed. This is not Bulova appropriating the Swiss compliments. It is Bulova making a bona fide Swiss timepiece and stamping it plainly as its own in complete confidence. And the outcome is a very real piece of mechanical watch that Swiss watch lovers admire more than its name would lead them to believe it is worthy of being Swiss. Price $700–900 new. An actual Swiss-made automatic in its own name, under Bulova, a name Mrs. Twilight. American dreamitude versus Swiss manufactory on an equal playing field.